Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing another alter ego head-to-head test between the new Shadow Kiss palette and the Natasha Denona Glam Palette. So I know so many of you guys during the last several alter ego releases, you know, when they tease them on Instagram and everybody's trying to guess which palette are they going to be duping this time. Usually people are like, please let it be the Glam palette, and usually it's not. But this time it actually was, and I didn't have any advance notice of this. Usually they give me a little heads up a couple weeks ahead of time, and they usually send me the palette ahead of time, and this time they didn't. So I've been getting so many requests like, when are you putting up the video? And I'm like, I don't have the palette yet. So now that it's in my hands, we are gonna try it out. I haven't tested it out yet at all. I just went ahead and did some quick swatches, which I'm gonna show you in a minute. So this is gonna be my first time testing it out. I know one of the things you guys have told me, like I know a lot of you love the Glam palette like I do, and some of you have said you didn't really care for it because even though you like the neutrals, that you just felt like the shimmer shades were not foiled enough, not metallic enough for you. And I get that because I'm somebody who loves a metallic shadow, but I tend to use this one more if I'm going somewhere where I really just don't want that metallic look on my eyes. If I want, you know, if I'm going like to my in-laws' house or I'm going to church or someplace that I just kind of want a little more of a subtle eyeshadow look, that's when I reach for the Glam palette because the shimmers in here are just so smooth and just, they really don't have a lot of sparkle to them. So they just kind of give your eyes a little bit of a glow, a little bit of a sheen, but not that sparkle going on. So I feel like there's kind of a time and a place where I'll use metallic shadows and then sometimes when I just don't want to. So I feel like for this one to be a true dupe, you really have to copy not only the shades, but also the finishes of the Glam palette. So when it comes to the packaging, the alter ego comes in a cardboard packaging while the Natasha Denona is in the plastic compact. This is one of her midi size palettes, so it's $65 while the alter ego one is $16. Plus I also do have a coupon code for 10% off. It's Gen 10. So I'll leave that link down below in case you would like to use that. And just looking at these two side by side, they look like they have pretty much all of the same shades. The alter ego one is just rearranged. It's in a little bit of a different order. And when it comes to the swatches, I wasn't able to fit both of these all the way down my arm because they're 15 pans. I can usually fit 12 on my forearm here, but not 15. It was just kind of going into the crook of my elbow and then they start to get like a little wonky. So I decided to just swatch the shimmer shades together and then the matte shades together. So first up, you're looking at the shimmer shades. And as far as the swatches go, I think they did an amazing job at capturing the same finish as the Glam palette. These shimmers are not extra foiled or metallic. They felt very smooth. I feel like the alter ego ones felt even a little bit softer than the Natasha Denona ones. They felt like not quite as hard pressed into the pan. They were super easy to pick up. And I just think every single shade looks pretty much spot on the same. And then when it comes to the matte shades, when you're looking at the swatches here, I think the alter ego ones felt very soft, very creamy, but they weren't quite as pigmented as the Natasha Denona. I did have to build up the swatches of the alter ego one. So these are 2 swipes while the Natasha Denona ones are 1 swipe. But the reason that I built up the alter ego ones was just so that you could see how the colors match. But I wanted to let you know that because they do take a little bit of building to get to the same level of intensity as the mattes in the Glam palette. So I just wanted to put that out there. But I think color-wise, they are spot on when you build them up. I think they look identical. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into a look. I'm gonna do the alter ego on one side, the Glam palette on the other. I would love to hear in the comments below what you've been thinking as far as which palette is on which eye, and then you're gonna see in just a second if you were right. So let's go ahead and jump right into that footage. All right, so we're gonna start out first with the alter ego side, and I'm gonna be picking up the shade Risk right here, which is kind of like a really light grayish taupe. And I'm using my Sigma Detailed Diffused Crease brush, or what is it called? Detailed Diffused Crease. And this brush is a really small crease brush, really good for hooded eyes. And it's actually really similar to the Refer number 14 brush that I really like. It's super similar. It's just that this one is synthetic hair and that one is natural hair. But I mean, the size and the shape and everything are really almost identical, and I pretty much use these interchangeably. So this is blending out really nicely, and I can tell you just right away that this is not quite as pigmented as the Natasha Denona one. And in a lot of ways, I like that better because for me, it's not as much of a struggle blending if it goes on lightly, and then I can just build up the color if I want to. But with the Natasha Denona, one thing that I really do struggle with is just blending things out once I actually lay the color down. I have to be really careful not to put too much. But I think this one is just, it's so easy to use and it's the perfect color. All right, and then using my Sigma switch, I'm gonna clean off this brush entirely so there's no alter ego shadow on the Natasha Denona side. And then for the Natasha Denona side, I'm gonna use the shade Transition, which is the same as the Risk shade in the Alter Ego palette. And I'm just gonna tap off the excess with this one because like I said, it is really, really pigmented. And I wanna try to get these to come out the same. So I didn't put nearly as much color on my brush, but as you can see, this just shows up really easily. And if you load up the brush, you're gonna be stuck with so much eyeshadow that's not gonna blend out right. So I usually just use this really, really sparingly if I can. I still kind of feel like this side over here is just slightly deeper. So I'm just gonna kind of blend a little bit more. I'm just gonna use the Sigma E40 brush, which is a little bit larger, and just kind of blend out the edge a little bit. Okay, so we have the crease shades down. I think they do look pretty even. Okay, so next to deepen up the crease, I'm gonna use the shade Desire down here in the Alter Ego palette. And I'm still using the same Sigma brush, the E33, but I'm just gonna concentrate this color on the outer corner. And then I'm going to take the bigger Sigma E40 again and just blend that into the transition shade. And then in the Natasha Denona palette, the shade is labeled Crease. And I'm just going to do the same thing over here and just focus on the outer corner and just deepening that and just kind of bringing it a little bit into the outer crease. All right, then I'm just gonna take my Sigma E40 again, blend those two together. I still think that both sides are looking pretty even for the most part, which is really good. Next on the Alter Ego side, I'm gonna pick up the color Shade, and I'm gonna be using my Sigma E30 pencil brush for this one, and I'm just gonna concentrate this right on the outer corner. I'm just kind of winging this out a little bit from the corner of my eye. And then in the Natasha Denona palette, I'm going to pick up the shade Smoke, which is the exact same shade. Okay, so this one is really pigmented compared to the other side. So I'm definitely going to have to blend this out. I'm going to use my detail crease brush from Sigma that I was using for the crease shades, and I'm just going to blend this out a little bit. I didn't really have to do this with the other side, but that went on kind of intense. Next, I'm going to take that outer corner shade called Shade, and I'm going to use my Rephr, what number is this? Number 23. It's a tiny little pencil brush, and I'm going to use this to line my lower lash line. And in the Natasha Denona, I'm going to pick up the shade Smoke. I love this little pencil brush. It's so tiny. A lot of times if I take a regular pencil brush, I feel like the shadow just comes down really low underneath my eyes. Okay, so now it's time for the lid shade, and I think I'm going to use this shade Dare right here. It's kind of like a taupey beige shimmer, and I just think it really opens up your eyes, especially if you have hooded eyes. Putting a lighter shade like this all over will just kind of make your eye look a little bit more open. This is really beautiful. By the way, this is the e.l.f. blending eye brush, and I'm just kind of running this along the shimmer shade along the edge and just blending it out. Blending it into that outer corner shade. And then I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more. and just pop it on again, just for some more intensity. Yeah, I feel like that's really, really nice. It feels very, very soft, really buttery. I love it. Now on the Natasha Denona side, I'm going to pick up the shade Center Eyelid right here. And even just putting my finger into the pan, it doesn't feel quite as soft as the Alter Ego. It's a little bit more firmly pressed. But I think this one actually has about the same level of intensity. Just gonna blend the edge of that. Just add a little bit more, just like I did with the other side. I don't feel like when it comes to the shimmer shades that the Alter Ego ones are less pigmented than the Natasha Denona. I think that when it comes to the mattes, they definitely are, but I feel like the shimmer shades come out very, very similar. And in fact, I think the Alter Ego one, like I said, might be even a little bit more vibrant. It's hard to tell just looking in a little mirror here, but you guys will have to let me know if you feel like these look very similar or if you think one is better than the other. So now I'm just gonna grab this shade here called Inner Corner in the Natasha Denona palette. I'm kind of going backwards. I have been doing the Alter Ego ones first, but I have this one in my hand, so I figured I would just do this one now. And this is, again, that really tiny Rephr number 23 brush. And I'm just going to highlight my inner corner with this shade. And then in the Alter Ego palette, it's called Disguise right here. Okay, I mean, I feel like it looks, again, pretty much the same as far as the intensity goes. Not really noticing much of a difference with the shimmer shades at all. All right, so time for mascara. I'm gonna be using the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect, one of my favorites. I feel like this mascara works better than just about any other high-end mascara that I've tried. It's so good. All right, guys, so my eyes are done, and I definitely think these look pretty much exactly the same. So as far as the matte shades go, I think if I had used the Natasha Denona ones at full strength, I hadn't tapped off the brush, and I had picked up a little bit more product, I think this side would definitely look a whole lot deeper and smokier. But because I kind of knew ahead of time that the Alter Ego ones were going to be less pigmented, I just tried to go really easy with the Glam palette, and I was able to make the matte shades look pretty much the same by doing that. And then also when it comes to the shimmer shades, I think they really do look pretty much exactly the same, both the inner corner highlight and the one on my lid. I think, I don't know, I can't really tell the difference between those at all. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup, and I will be back with my final thoughts. All right, guys, so the rest of my makeup is on, and for blush, I'm wearing the Tarte Vanish blush stick in the shade Devoted, and on my lips, I'm wearing the Tarte C H2O Balm in the shade Villa. So I just try to keep everything really, really neutral since my eyes were kind of neutral as well. So anyway, my thoughts when it comes to the new Shadow Kiss palette, I think this is very consistently Alter Ego's normal formula, especially when it comes to the matte shades, and when it comes to the shimmer shades, I love that they really tried to capture how the Glam palette shimmer shades are, and they didn't go super metallic or super foiled. And I know a lot of you will be disappointed in that because it was, like I said, one of the reasons that a lot of you said you didn't like the Glam palette. But that's one thing I really love about Alter Ego, is that they do try to capture the color story, but they also capture the same finishes as well. So you're really getting that same experience as buying the high-end palette, which I love. I think, again, I don't think the matte shades are as pigmented as the Natasha Denona. I think for some of you that would be a downside. For me personally, it's not, because I just find these harder to work with. I do have to make sure I'm not picking up a lot. Sometimes I do anyway, even despite my best efforts. And then I end up sitting there blending and blending and blending and trying to get it to look, you know, blended out. So I think from that perspective, the Alter Ego one is definitely easier to work with. I think it's not like it's not pigmented. It certainly is. Everything showed up beautifully. I just think it's not like to the level that this one is, but I'm not complaining about that in the slightest bit. So anyway, I did want to do a wear test in this video too. I don't always do that, and sometimes I get comments asking, does the alter ego side last as long as the Natasha Denona or whatever else it's duping? So I definitely wanted to show that. So I'm going to go ahead and wait about 8 hours or so, come back, and then show you what my makeup still looks like at that point. So I will see you guys back here later on tonight. Hey guys, it's about 4 o'clock, so I just figured I'd do kind of a middle of the day check-in and we'll see how the eyeshadow is holding up. So far, this is the alter ego side, this is the Natasha Denona, and I feel like they both still look pretty good. I feel like neither one is really fading faster than the other or anything like that. It is super hot outside, it's almost 90 and really humid. So we were just out running a couple errands, but I was outside. We stopped at a little farm so my son could feed the goats, and so you know, we were out in the heat a little bit and everything's still holding up fine. I did also just want to mention as a side note, it has nothing to do with the video, but we ran into Walgreens and they actually had some new shades of the Maybelline lifter glosses. So I am really excited about these. If you'd like to see these featured in a video, I got 5 different shades. They're all new, so if you want to see those like a try on, definitely let me know. These are my favorite lip glosses of all time. So anyway, just wanted to do a quick check-in, and I'll see you all back here probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight. Hey guys, I'm back. It's about 7:30 p.m. Please ignore my hair. It is such a hot mess. It's so humid outside. And in addition to running the errands before, I just got back from a walk. We were helping my son ride his bike or learn how to ride his bike. And it's just, even though it's evening time, it's still really humid. So I definitely put these eyeshadows to the test today. And looking at both sides, I think that the alter ego side, the shimmer shade still looks just as good as the Natasha Denona, I think. But I feel like the matte shades maybe have faded a little bit more than this side, just a tiny bit. And also I forgot to mention that I didn't wear primer today. Usually I do, and for some reason I just didn't think of it, but Alter Ego makes a great primer that's a dupe for the Urban Decay Primer Potion. It feels very similar. It has that nice silky feel. So I highly recommend that one. And I feel like over a primer, most of the time my Alter Ego eyeshadows last just as long as the high-end version. So I think that could be why I have a little bit of fading going on this side, but otherwise I am super happy with the Shadow Kiss palette. I think they did an amazing job getting all of the shades exactly right and the finishes as well. Again, I do think the matte shades are just a little bit less pigmented, but in my book, that's definitely not a bad thing. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you're thinking about the new Shadow Kiss palette down in the comments below. Are you planning on ordering this one, or do you think you might skip it? If you are planning to order, please don't forget to use my code JEN10 and it'll save you 10% on your order. Also, Alter Ego does have international shipping now as well. So for all of you who were not able to get Alter Ego before, now you can. Actually, I don't think they ship to every country, but there's a big list. So I'll link to that down in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it so much as always. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I also have a bunch of other Alter Ego reviews on their different palettes here on my channel. So definitely don't forget to check those out as well. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all in my next one. Take care, guys. Bye.